Combat sports fans, welcome to Strong Style, Impact Media's weekly dive off the top rope into the world of professional wrestling, MMA, and bare knuckle. You know, we're going to talk about it. As I said, we are going to talk some bare knuckle FC. They're going to be here this Friday. A little update on that. We are also going to talk some UFC, some PFL, a little WWE, AEW, some WoW. They've got some interesting things coming up too. TNA. Who am I missing? I think we covered it. Oh, and NXT. We can't forget NXT. So let's get well. Before we get into it, if you want to really help the show, go to our YouTube page. If you're watching on YouTube, it's easier to do all this. If not, go to our YouTube page. Easiest place to find all of us. You can go to impact underscore media underscore. Remember, underscore is a little line at the bottom. And you will find all of our amazing content, including this show, all of our other college shows, everything but our hockey show. Remember, it has its own channel. You can also follow me, the Impact 99, on all the social medias. And I believe you can find us all those places. So let's start. Let's talk some bare knuckle. Let's talk some bare knuckle FC. That's going to be BKFC 69. What a show this is going to be. I've already went over all the matchups. I had them all there. There we go. Richardson versus Larimore is the main event. Remember, I went fight by fight on all of these. You are also going. No, wait. Yeah. Richardson versus Larimore. You're going to get Elmore versus Finley. You're going to get Manass versus Burgos. Greer versus Simpson. Remember, there's a lot of Atlanta folks in this one here. Carthon versus Ray. Our good buddy, Nathan Rivera, taking on Justin Street. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. If you didn't check out our chat with Nathan late last week, just after Thanksgiving, I believe, definitely go back and check that out. Also, we're going to get Murray versus Van Vyk. We are scheduled to talk to Crystal Van Vyk after this show. Not this show, after the show this Friday. Schedules just did not align between last week and this week, and we just both figured that it would be easier to talk post-fight, so that is scheduled. That is on the books. You can tune in sometime next week and listen to my chat with Crystal Van Vyk, and that is going to be fantastic. We wish all the fighters the best. I may make picks, but show no favoritism. Just want to see some great fights. And I think we're going to Farrell versus Watson. Those are going to be all the main event fights. But let's see, all the main event fights, just so you know, on Fubo Sport. Fubo Sport, I believe some other places as well. Just check your local listings and favorite streaming area, and you probably find these fights. The prelims also on Fubo Sport. Those are going to start 7 p.m. We're going to get Smith versus Davis, Samples versus Livingston, Brewington versus Cooper, Marrer versus Hill, Aiken versus Wassey. That's going to be fun. I think they added a couple. I don't remember talking about a couple of those. But that's going to be fun. That is this Friday. If you want to get tickets, go get tickets. It's that what they call it, Gas South District, where the Gladiators and the Swarm play, where you see a lot of my videos from up in the rafters and other places in that building. Go get tickets. Great tickets still available. And here is the update about that show. We can confirm not only will Impact Media be in the building, the Impact will be in the building. I told you guys we were in talks of covering this event from a media perspective, and we have reached a great agreement with the BKFC for us to be in attendance in media form. I am super stoked. I had to tie myself down to this particular chair so I would not float off. This is gonna be so much fun. There is nothing like a fight night. I tell you guys that all the time. There is absolutely nothing like a fight night. Whether it's the PFL, whether it's UFC, even WWE, the local circuits, but especially BKFC. Nobody throws down like BKFC, and this is going to be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. We would be remiss if we do not talk. Let's go to PFL. If we talk to PFL, let's talk about the PFL. The PFL had their world championship over the weekend, and they did not disappoint. Absolutely did not disappoint. I'm going to go over the 6 title fights. Denis Goltsov defeated Oleg Popov via submission by triangle choke 3 minutes into round number 1. Just under 3 minutes. Told you guys Denis Goltsov. I saw that guy fight twice. Couldn't remember if I'd seen Popov or not. Popov is really good. He probably was better on his feet than Goltsov. The problem was he took Goltsov down and proceeded to just want to keep him there, and that goes right into Goltsov's strength. He is very good with submissions, and so you not wanting to get up because you weren't sure if you could if you want to stay on the feet or not, or whatever went on with Oleg, you played right into Denis's strengths, and so he took it and he put you out. Absolutely put you out. I thought that was a fantastic performance, and that was the so Denis Goltsov, world champ, $1 million. Not a bad payday. Ghazi Rabadanov, or Rabadanov, rather. Sorry, Ghazi. Defeated Brett Premise by KO in 2:31 of round number 3. Brett Premise is really good, but Ghazi just, by that third round, he was done playing around, and he was able to drop Premise and put that one out. Congratulations to Ghazi, world champ, $1 million. Once again, not a bad night at the office. In what surprised me a little, and it shouldn't have surprised me as much, but I really thought Magomed Umlatov was gonna beat Musayev, and Shamil Musayev made me eat that one. He stays 20-0, gives Umlatov the first defeat in his 18-fight career. KO in round number 3. Wow, that was fun. That was fun watching those two. By the way, all these ended early except for one, and we will get to that. I told you guys every time I bet against Impa Katsagane, it comes back to bite me. So I went with Impa Katsagane over Dovletsan Yashamuradov. I should have took what did Josh Thompson call him? Yags. I should have took Yag Shamuradov because he defeated Impa Katsagane via KO 58 seconds into this fight. 58. In the time it took me to explain that part of the fight, it was over. Dovazan just once again, him and Musayev, world champion. They win the tournament. $1 million. That's a lot of money they handed out, by the way. In the fight, everybody is still talking about. Now, we're still talking about a lot of these, but the one they are most talking about, Dakota Disheva, stays undefeated at 14-0 now, as she won via TKO at the end of round number 2 over Talia Santos. Is that not what I predicted? I told you guys Sheva is ready to be the face of the PFL and maybe the face of women's MMA, maybe of MMA. But she beat Talia Santos via TKO, world champion, $1 million. Here, I got to bring this up. Sorry, PFL. Got friends in the PFL. I hope to be at more of their events. They are going to have a Dakota problem sooner rather than later. 2 problems. 1, finding competition. They've still got plenty right now. But if she starts rolling through this division, good now. If she decides that she wants to take the Kayla Harrison route and start choosing her fights over being in the tournament, that could be a little entertaining as well. But the biggest problem they're going to have is keeping her in the PFL. Because when her fight deal starts getting close to being up, you got to know those offers are going to start floating around. And they have to be unofficial. But you got to think somebody like Desheva is going to be highly touted, just like Kayla Harrison was. I'll be honest, I hope she stays in the PFL for a while, at least for a while, because I think there's a ton that she can do there. And there's a little bit she can do outside right now. Her biggest competition to me is herself and this division. Shout out Dakota. Fantastic job. Shout out Talia Santos, who is 22-4. That's 26 fights. She's won all but 4 of them. I mean, and sometimes when you hit a buzzsaw, you hit a buzzsaw, and that's what happened here. Talia Santos is still one of the biggest and best fighters, especially in that weight class. And then finally, Timur, I swear it's, is it Hizriv? Hizriv? I'm going to go Hizriv. Stays undefeated as he defeats Brendan Loughnane via unanimous decision. And he did. He absolutely did. The fight card, I believe, 50-45. I gave Brendan at least 1 or 2, maybe 2 rounds. And then 49-46 on 2 different cards. That was a little more like it. Loughnane did win at least a round, maybe 2, but he definitely did not win 3. So congratulations to both of them, or all of them. World champion, $1 million. And I believe they still have a fight before the end of the year. I believe they still have an event. I am not for certain. So maybe get our best people in on that. Maybe so. We're working on that apparently. Yep. Put it on the screen over here. I swear they have an event in December. I shouldn't swear. But there's the World Championship. They don't. They're actually done for the year. Okay. They will probably kick back off in late February to early March. I have not heard an actual date up until this point, but fantastic. Love the PFL. Love BKFC. Love UFC. You guys know that. So without further ado, let's get into UFC 310. That is this Saturday. Where are they? They are, for some reason I didn't write down where they were. They are fighting on Jupiter right now. Nope, T-Mobile Arena. Home of the Vegas Golden Knights, I believe. And we are going to get Alexander Pantoja versus Kai Asakura in the flyweight main event for the title. Wow. Pantoja versus Asakura. What an incredible fight. Pantoja is a minus 260 favorite. Asakura is a plus 210. I got that fight as probably a 55-45 Pantoja. So I'm not telling you to put down your hard-earned ducats, but I'm telling you that if you're looking for a solid fight with some good numbers, plus 210 for Asakura is not bad. Not bad at all. That's a pretty interesting play. There's going to be one on the next fight as well. This whole card, we're going to go through the main event, But this whole card is just main event after main event. It really is. Because in the co-main event, the welterweight division, we're going to get Shavkat Rakhmonov against Ian Machado Gary. Yeah, let me say that again. That's Shavkat Rakhmonov against Ian Machado Gary. That, what kind of video game matchup is that? Both of them undefeated. I know what a lot of people are saying. Well, one of them's going to leave with a loss. Not necessarily. I don't, knock on wood, close enough. It could be a draw, which would leave them both undefeated, but I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be. Now, do I agree that Rachmanov is the favorite? Yes. Is he a minus 390 favorite? I would say no. It's a little closer than that. This is a 60-40 Rachmanov to Machado Gary. But Gary is a plus 290 and has a solid chance to win this fight. So you want to go Asakura? You want to go Gary? You want to parlay them? Not bad. Not bad odds there. Now you're going both dogs. You're going against the favorite. So, don't whine to me if it doesn't pan out. I'm just telling you, that's a pretty good one to throw some ducats down on as well. The next fight, same way. It's probably the last one that I'll probably actually encourage you to, if you're going to bet, these are ones to bet. You can, do your own odds, but this is just based on what I think. In the heavyweight division, Cyril Gane, the return of Cyril Gane, as he's going to take off Alexander Volkov in the heavyweight division. Cyril Gane is a minus 370 favorite, a plus 275 dog for Volkov, because Volkov is normally a light heavyweight, I believe, and took on the weight to move up. So he can do that. Cyril Gane is a very technical fighter. That's not a way of saying he don't have knockout power, he can't end a fight. No, he very much can. He is very methodical and loves to pick his shots and just pick you apart piece by piece. Volkov, on the other hand, has a little bit of submission in his game, a little bit of wrestling. He's got a little more power, but he's also fought 48 times to Gane's 14. So, yes, he's battle tested, but he's done a lot of battles. Man, I don't want to go tell you to pick dogs in all of them, but if you wanted to parlay the dogs in all three, I bet you would get pretty decent odds to do so. Volkov does have a chance to beat Cyril Gane. I think, personally, if I had to pick this fight, I think Volkov is going to win. But the odds-on favorite is Cyril Gane is going to go 3 rounds and just pillar to post with Volkov. We're going to get Bryce Mitchell versus Kron Gracie. Yeah, another Gracie in the octagon. Imagine that. In the featherweight division, Bryce Mitchell minus 850 favorite. Kron Gracie plus 500. Yeah, I know plus 500 is pretty fun if you win, but that's Bryce Mitchell on the other side, and he has fought 19 times to just 7 official fights for Kron Gracie. Bryce Mitchell. Take Bryce Mitchell. And finally, Nate Landwehr is going to face Duho Choi. Choi is a plus 115 underdog and minus 135 favorite for Landwehr. They've got that one down the middle. That's because it's going to be a tough fight to call in the featherweight division. I actually think Choi is going to find some way to pull this out. So I'm just going to mention some of the fights and a couple of the things going forward. You got Dominic Reyes over Anthony Smith, or versus Anthony Smith. Sorry, Anthony, I didn't mean to say that early. Smith needs this. If Anthony Smith can't beat Dominic Reyes here, I don't know where he goes from here. And that Anthony Smith should be a title contender, but he needs to put together a solid performance and a great win here. And I wish him the best. I wish him and Dominic both the best. I think it's going to be a fantastic matchup. Vincente Luque versus Semba Gorimbo. Fun welterweight fight. Movsar Ivlev against Aljamain Sterling in the featherweight division. Once again, that's a main event on any card. Randy Brown versus Brian Battle. Chris Weidman versus Eric Anders in a catchweight. It's because Weidman got his fight canceled last 2 weeks ago. Was just devastated. They couldn't make that work, and so the UFC said, "I'll get you a fight. You want a fight? I'll get you a fight." And so here's Eric Anders. Can't remember if that was his original opponent or not, because I think it was Eric Anders, the former, I believe, linebacker with the University of Alabama. I think he had a health thing or something he had to pull out, but I guess everything's a go, and they are minus 115 to minus 105. They've got that down the middle. Cody Durden versus Joshua Van, big time flyweight matchup. Michael Chiesa versus Max Griffin in the welterweight division. Clay Guida, Captain Caveman, versus Chase Hooper. Hooper is a giant favorite in that, but never count out Captain Caveman, who has had 59 fights. This will be his 60th professional fight. Captain Caveman. He thought it there, but Captain Caveman. And then last, because literally every one of these are household names. Kennedy, is it Nchukwu? Nchukwu. We're going with that. Versus Lucas Brzezinski in the heavyweight. That is going to be the first fight. That could be on a top 5 fight on another card. That's how unbelievable this fight is. Did they post the time with it all being in Vegas? My guess is there it goes. Early prelim 6 p.m. Regular, and those are on ESPN Plus. On ESPN 2 and ESPN Plus are the prelims at 8. The main card, the pay-per-view, is at 10. And that's just the fighting. So now let's get into the wrestling. Let's talk. Well, you guys know WWE just had Survivor Series War Games. I thought it was spectacular. I thought it was really awesome. Me and Daniel will be breaking that down, I believe, on Thursday. And you, unfortunately, will have to wait till then to hear about what we thought. The big event from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, the Rogers Arena. Everybody tells me Vancouver's a place I need to go to. And with all these big events that keep happening, maybe I need to do that. What else happened? TNA Turning Point. Let's go there. TNA Turning Point happened Friday, and some pretty good stuff happened. Some pretty good stuff happened as well. Like I said, this was from last week. This was all the different things that were going on in the next week that associated with this show. So TNA Turning Point, in a random match that didn't seem to mean anything, Rosemary beat Savannah Evans and Zaya Brookside. A match that did mean a lot, which is kind of weird though. But Mike Santana beat Frankie Kazarian. Frankie Kazarian currently holding the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match, which is the Money in the Bank briefcase, or the same thing that Christian has in AEW. So interesting that your future title contender took a loss, but he took it to Mike Santana, who I said could be a bigger star on TNA. So big win for Big Mike. We also got another random match that included people that should have probably been in the main event. Joe Hendry defeated Brian Myers, who actually took the pinfall, Eric Young, Hammerstone, John Skyler, and Rhino in a 6-way Thanksgiving Turkey Bowl match. Because I'll be honest, TNA, and yeah, I know we're currently talking about me potentially being at some of your events coming up, but sometimes you can't get out of your own way. Why in the world do we have to keep having turkey matches? Why? Because Joe Hendry, I'll be honest, Joe Hendry, I'll put Brian Myers in there. Eric Young and Hammerstone could be in the main event of any card you have. Any of them. If you told me Joe Hendry versus Brian Myers in a grudge match, I'm in. Eric Young versus Hammerstone. I'm in. Hammerstone versus Hendry. Eric Young versus Brian. Yeah, I'm in. Those are four main event guys. John Skyler, he calls himself a good hand. He is one of the best hands in the ring. And Rhino's always good. Rhino's always good. And yet, Myers had a turkey suit on by the end of this, which he did well with. He played up. He did good. But why? Why? Yeah, it was great. No reason to have that. Just my opinion. And yes, if you do ask me, oh, you think you could do better, put me on the writing staff for a month, and you'll see. Think I can. And I'm not saying that I'm better. I'm just saying be different. It would be different if you let me book things for a month. It'd be different. And there's my offer. Let me do it for a month. And if it's terrible or if it's worse, you start getting ratings that are worse. That's fine. I'll take my defeat and I'll go home. But if it's better, then we got to talk. Just saying. Love you, TNA. Really do. Been to a lot of TNA events over the years. Moose with Alicia Edwards defeated Laredo Kid. I still say Laredo Kid is awesome. Met him a month ago at the Lucha event here in Atlanta. That guy's cool. That guy's super cool. I imagine Moose is too, and Alicia Edwards. But Moose as the TNA X Division champion, I love it. I absolutely love it. It puts a whole new perspective when a former heavyweight champion is the X Division champion. It makes you raise your game. And I know a lot of people go, well, it's going to take a special person to beat Moose. It is. And whoever does is going to be a star from the time they do it. What a great way to build somebody up. Do I think that person's on the roster? Maybe. I'll be honest. First person that comes to mind, Ace Austin. Ace Austin's already borderline a star. Chris Bay's going to be out a while with that neck injury, and he can't tag with the Hardys forever. Ace Austin versus Moose, not bad. Hammerstone, not bad. Joe Hendry over Moose for the X Division. It would derail the heavyweight title picture we think he's in, but just threw out some good ideas there, TNA. And disclaimer, I do not read dirt sheets. So if one of these ideas is thrown out on one of those, I didn't see it. These are all off the top of the dome. But Moose over Laredo Kid, it was a good match. I liked it a lot. Steve Macklin over Josh Alexander in a no DQ match. Once again, I have heard through the grapevine, once again, I don't read the dirt sheets, but I have heard that Josh Alexander is maybe going to take some time away. So it makes all the sense in the world that Macklin go over and Macklin be one that could also be in the main event. That would be my only problem on the writing staff is there's a logjam at a lot of pit stops in TNA. Including the tag team division where the Hardys, the current champions, and Ace Austin defeated Kushida, Zachary Wentz, and a mystery partner. Who is the mystery partner? By the way, the reason why a lot of you guys are like, well, where was Trey Miguel? He had flight issues, I believe, and was not able to get to the show. He had some issues, some travel issues. So they needed somebody in a pinch. And who do they get? Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle who puts on a good show. I give Matt Riddle that. He was a good replacement. As a last-minute replacement, a good replacement in this. Obviously, the Hardys and Ace Austin ended up with the win. But Kushida, Wentz, and Riddle more than held their own because they're all good. We are down to the final matchups where Masha Slamovich defeated Jordan Gray 2-1 in a 2 out of 3 falls match. That absolutely makes sense. It's just Masha's time to have a good run. Jordan ran through the division for a couple years. She's had other opportunities to go to NXT and to be in the Royal Rumble, and some of that stuff is coming up. So maybe you want to free her up for some of those things, and maybe she's just taking a break after running the division for 2 years. You might just want to take a step back and enjoy life for a second. I think she still wrestles, but I just think she dials it back and just does some fun matches. I think her and Rosemary would be pretty good. That'd be the first matchup I would look for. And then finally, Nick Nemeth defeated Eddie Edwards with Alicia Edwards down there as well for the TNA World Championship. I still like Nemeth as the champ. I think if you don't have a Hendry, get the X Division from Moose. Hendry, I think, needs to be your next world champion over Nick Nemeth. If not, I'm not sure who Nemeth's next nemesis is going to be, but I do know that you need to do something because I'm not sure who the next title contender is. It could be a lot of people. Frankie Kazarian, not yet. He needs to be sneaky with it. What else have we? Oh, NXT Deadline. NXT Deadline is coming up. What, the 7th? That is this Saturday. And I think, tonight, because as we're recording this, NXT is currently on. As of now, they're probably finalizing some of the matches. But what we have so far, we have Jada Parker versus Lola Vice in a NXT Underground match. It's going to be fun. Parker is really emerging as a big force in, that's not a size comment, but she is really making waves in NXT with her work and her demeanor, and I think she's doing a really good job. I think Lola Vice is still on that wave as well. Having these two face off in an underground match, I think, is really, really fun because Vice has at least one win in an underground match when she beat Shayna Baszler. I could see her beating Parker here and being respectable still because Jada Parker's still a beast. We're going to get Axiom and Nathan Frazier defending their tag team championships against the No Quarter Catch crew of Miles Bourne and Tavian Heights. I don't know that this is the team that takes it off Axiom and Frazier, but I do think very soon you are going to see that team split again because they both want to get into other ventures. Trick Williams defends his NXT championship against Ridge Holland. Here's the thing. Ridge is good enough to beat Trick. Ridge is not as good as Ethan Page, but Ridge is good enough to beat Champ. Him as Champ would be interesting and a good wrinkle. More than likely, Trick is going to retain. The person I think should take it off of Trick is Lexus King, but Lexus is tied up with some other stuff right now, and he isn't pushed up enough. He's good enough, but he's not pushed up enough on television to be in the main event. I think Trick retains. The only way that Trick does not retain here is if he's getting called up. And he's one of the most popular things going to NXT right now. So I would not look for that anytime soon. Now we get to the Iron Survivor Challenge. We're going to go with the women. Now what it is, this is to determine the number one contender for the NXT Women's Championship. There are 5 women in this match. You are trying to get the most pinfalls in 30 minutes, I believe. And if you are pinned or you tap out or you are submitted, I believe you go into a penalty cage for a couple minutes, which that means you have less time to try to get some victories. On the women's side, we're going to get Sol Ruka, who has taken a fast track to the top. Stephanie Vacker, Zarya, Julia, and Ren Sinclair. I'll be honest. All of them deserve to be there. There's a couple I could even add, but you only have 5 in this match. Ren Sinclair has more than stepped up in the past 6-8 months and really, really shows out in the ring. The only thing going against her and Sol Ruka's in that boat too. She's come back off injury. She has uh, gotten real close to being a star, breakout star. The only thing going against her are the other three people in the ring are world traveled ring generals and Stephanie Vacker, Zarya, and Julia. I think it comes down to one of them. Um, yeah, if you give me number one, Julia's had a chance. I think Stephanie should get this one. And Zarya can be right after that if they want to do that, or if they want Stephanie to take it from uh, Roxanne Perez. That's not a bad thing as well. They've got a logjam and a half, a absolute logjam and a half at the top of the women's division NXT. Um, it forced Raw and SmackDown to beef up their women's division so that they can have all those titles, and they're deep enough to do that. AEW's got quite a one too. The women's wrestling in general across the globe has just skyrocketed, and it's so good. So then we go to the men. I'll be honest, I hope this is the main event. The Iron Survivor Challenge for the men. You're going to get Wes Lee, Javon Evans, Nathan Frazier, Ethan Page, and one to be determined. So Nathan Frazier is going to be on there twice. Which makes a good wrinkle if they lose the belt. But why would you lose it to Gallus? Why would you lose it to the No Quarter Cat Club that doesn't tag very often? Nor have you established either one of them. But once again, NXT and TNA in the same boat that they do not ask that guy to write for them. Who would I like to see win? Well, it also has a lot to do with who's going to win the other one. Because if Ridge is going to win, then your TBD makes the most sense because it'll be some big time face. I don't know who. They're going to have that match tonight, I believe. Honestly, who do I want to see versus Trick Williams? Trick and Ethan would be good again, but Trick and Wesley is borderline one of the best heels in NXT. I think Ethan's number one. Wes is probably number two. Without me going through the entire roster, but I got them pretty even there. So I'll go back through my picks. Lola Vice went underground over Jada Parker. I think Axiom and Frazier are going to retain. Give me Stephanie Vacker to win the women's. Oh, they're going with the 5-match too. And Wes Lee to win the men's. Oh, Trick over Ridge Holland. There we go. That's my pick for that. But what that is, that's all the fighting. That's going over Turning Point. That's NXT deadline coming up this Saturday. That is in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The Minneapolis Armory up there. I think that's a fantastic venue to hold that. NXT is not arena. You want to keep it in the smaller venues because it does so well. Make that ticket hard to get and not, 1,000 extra tickets. Make it the must see ticket. So that is going to move us to AEW. Now, myself and my tag team partner Clay talked about the pay-per-view last night and a lot of the stuff going on. To go more into it now, the Continental Classic has started. There's a blue side and a gold side. You had Shelton Benjamin, who beat Mark Briscoe in the blue side. I think that's fair. Shelton is more than on his game. What else do we get? We also get where is it? It was more Claudio Castagnoli, who I referred to as Cesaro last night. Apology, Claudio. Claudio beat Ricochet in a fantastic match, and I will say the same thing I did last night. I think Ricochet has a better shot of winning if he was here 6 or 8 months as opposed to 6 or 8 weeks. Because Ricochet is just out of this world. So is Claudio. But that makes the most sense there. The Brody King beat Darby Allin in the gold, which made all the difference. I mean, it meant everything. Um, Moving into Collision, Osprey over Juice Robinson in the gold. Yeah, Osprey needed to bounce back after losing to Kyle Fletcher at the pay-per-view. Kyle Fletcher beat Mortos in the blue. And Okada and Garcia in the blue. Neither one of them won, and neither one of them lost. This was a draw, which was very respectable to Garcia, which is more than Okada was, as he told him he was his number one fan by using neither of the outside fingers. It was the non-outside finger, the most inside finger. But it is what it is with that. I think as we see that tournament shake out a little bit, it's a lot like the G1 tournament in New Japan, and it gets to showcase some of the best ones, and you get some interesting matchups because there's a lot of times that you look and go, well, Brody King's racing Darby Allin, and half the people say, oh, Brody King's going to win that, and the other half go, whoa, 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 that's Darby Allin. Darby Allin could win that. True. A lot of these matchups are 60-40, 50-50. Other things that I like about AEW right now, Harley Cameron. She had a match with Thunder Rosa where at one point she was it a Harleygram? Where she had a hologram mask on. I thought her in-ring work. She is one of the best in-ring people that could just work with anybody in AEW. And I really appreciate Harley's work. The Outrunners got a big win. Then FTR is kind of partnered with them. I think the FTR is going to go bad. I just thought about this. I think FTR is going to flip on the Outrunners, and that's going to be a big feud coming up very, very soon. Swerve didn't do so well against Lashley. We know that. But could Swerve build his own little group, maybe with Max Caster and Anthony Bowen? That's not a bad little trio to combat the Hurt Syndicate. That could definitely be a thing. Hangman, Jay White, and Christian all entangled in things. It's going to be so much fun. It's really going to be just absolutely off the charts. Absolutely so much fun. And then last thing, let's get to WoW Women of Wrestling. I told you guys last week that the Beast has officially hung up the boot. He turned over the title and is no longer with WoW. Completely done with the company, I believe. I don't know if she was wrestling elsewhere. She made it sound like she's done. Which I understand. After the storyline, the way they wrote it out initially, yeah, I get it. Wasn't a big fan of the way that happened. But it also moved a bunch of people outside the company. So I don't know. They claimed some of them got let go. Some of their contracts weren't redone. I think they left. But while still doing some fantastic things, they had magnificent Miranda Mirage, and there was another new vicious Veronica Varum, who made their debuts. Veronica picked up the win. Miranda Mirage, who is a former magician's assistant, lost to Xena Phoenix, the returning Xena Phoenix, who qualified for the big 12-woman battle royal. They're going back to their roots in order to crown a new world heavyweight champion. I guess they're world champions, say heavyweight, but women, sorry. world champion, the same way that they had a 20-woman battle royal back in the day for the initial champion. They're going to do the same for this, and so they're going to do a bunch of qualifying from here till the end of the season. And Xena Phoenix, with her win, is the first person to qualify. So they did a good job. Um, and then your new tag team champions is Miami Sweet Heat dropped the title to Big Rig Betty and Jesse Jones. I think they called them Big Rig and Bourbon or Big Rigs and something like that. But I like the team of Big Rig Betty and Jesse Jones. I think they could do a lot on the indie scene. They're going to do a lot in WoW. And it was time for Miami Sweet Heat to lose the title and to do something different. Um, the thing to pay attention to is going to be Holly Swag, or whatever she's calling herself, Hollywood Swag or whatever. Uh, her and Penelope Pink not liking each other, not getting along very well in the Fabulous Four, as she kind of took Vicky Lynn McCoy's spot when Vicky left. As you can tell, tons and tons going on with every facet of MMA. Once again, don't forget this Saturday UFC 310. Don't forget this Saturday NXT Deadline, and don't forget this Friday. Come by and say hello to this guy. This Friday at, I call it the Duluth Center, but at the Gas South District in Gwinnett, in Duluth, same basic area. Come on by. It's BKFC 69. It's going to be so off the charts amazing. Come by and say hello. Love to meet you guys. Love to talk fighting. Love to talk whatever you guys want to talk. But until then, I'm Jeremy the Impact York. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Strong Style. We'll see you guys next week. Deuces, gooses. Go watch wrestling. Go watch fighting.